Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV. This year we talk a lot about innovation, science, technology, competitiveness, but one have to realize that Cambodia is still an agrarian society. You know, a bulk of our people still live off the land. You leave the city, you leave the big city of Siem Reap, Phnom Penh. You know, 15 minutes later, you are right in the heart of the, Cambodia scenery, which is a rice field, an agricultural field. You go to Battambang, you see, vast area of rice field, and this is a reminder that we cannot forget who we are, which is still an agrarian society. You see also that now the development of the industry, we're moving to ASEAN Economic Community. The multinational are coming in, the Japanese are coming in, but don't forget that these only comprise a small portion of the overall development spectrum of the country. But the majority of the people still live off the land, are still small, micro, enterprise. Sometimes are just one or two person trying to earn their living through whatever means they have. And that's why I thought it's important that we also touch on that dimension of the Cambodia, which is the agricultural side, the micro enterprise, the agriculture, but linked to employment, poverty, reduction side. And I have the pleasure to have with me once again Dr. Kalyan, who's coming here as a retired FAO, as a development economist, but more than anything as a wise man to come and share with us some of his ideas as relate to agricultural development, job creation, in other words, something that will affect the life of most of the Cambodian people living in this country. So Bang, welcome once again to my show.
Thank you so much, Siphana. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, look, I have a good introduction already on the need to also look at the other side of the development spectrum, which is the very, poor people who do not have millions of dollars or big factory. What do you have in mind today when you say, yes, Ma, I will come to your show. We're going to talk about development. What do you have in mind?
Thank you, Siphana, for a very nice introduction. Already give a framework of what we're going to talk today. But just like to recap some basic things that we like to talk today is that, as you say rightly, we are still in agriculture economy. Most of people depend on these sectors, and people tend to think about the big thing, like Phnom Penh special zone, this and that, all the big things, which are also important.
Yes.
But at the same time, another segment of the economy is still there, so we have to face it. As you say rightly, agriculture is the backbone of our economy. Frankly, like it or not, agriculture was there before the human being come. Just imagine tree. Okay?
Yes.
Tree is agriculture.
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
Fish and water agriculture.
Yes.
Plant are there already. So even before the human being come, agriculture are there already. So today, let's talk about the agro-processing, which is the step after agriculture, which is the this is sector that link the two sectors, agri sector and industry sectors, which is in between.
Yes.
So this is let's focus on this section.
But let me just set. Maybe I ask you to set the context a bit on agriculture. View a bit. What is Cambodian agriculture now? What do we do? What's the strength? What do we have? What we don't have?
Okay, very big.
Very broad question, but just to set the stage.
Bird eye view.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, it's a bird eye view question. I think very good question. The way I see it, I think agriculture has developed a lot since 1993. I think a lot of improvement, particularly rice. Right, people talk a lot about rice, but there are other things that are coming, like you talked other day about the rubber, about the sugar, about soya bean, about cassava, about other crops that people do not mention. But those are produced in Cambodia. So the big chunk of our agriculture is rice. People talking about rice, right? But agriculture sector is not only about rice. There are so many potential, so many hidden potential that we have to tap. Just to give you only one example, For example, the pepper.
Yes.
We're talking about pepper a lot these days.
Okay.
Yeah. Now in Cambodia, we produce 7,000 tons, right? So 1 ton is 5,000 black pepper, dry black pepper.
Yeah.
So sometimes the quantity is not that much, but 1 ton is $5,000 as compared to $500 for rice. So 10 times, right?
10 times, yes.
So sometimes if you talk about only the quantity,
yes,
it's not enough.
It's misleading.
It's misleading. You talk about value, and also there's so many hidden opportunities that we have in Cambodia agriculture.
Fine. So here you're provoking a paradigm, you know, quantity versus quality. But you know what the world see, what the Cambodians see is a lot of quantity now, which is rice, right? So it's very visible. Give me other example on things that are more qualitative, that have as much impact on the livelihood of the poor people, that are not so visible for when people drive along highway, you know, 5 to Battambang, for example.
Very difficult to quote. I could not think of. I'm going to talk about SIL later on, but not now.
That's a good point, yes.
You want to talk now on SIL?
It's fine, it's fine. You know, I was thinking of SIL as I was saying that.
Okay, so SIL, this is SIL.
Yes.
This is SIL, this is SIL yarn.
Yes.
So practically in Cambodia right now, we only import this. This is a SIL yarn we import from abroad.
Yes.
We import 400 tons of SIL yarn. And then what Cambodia, we are very good at making the fabrics like this.
Yes.
Okay. So weaving is very good for Cambodia. But at the same time, we are good at tradition, we are good at kind of design, so on and so forth, very nicely.
That's traditional design.
Yeah, traditional design.
You know, let me interrupt you, right? Speaking in traditional design, a few years ago, Cambodia won the Design by Excellence by UNESCO and it's a protected pattern.
Okay, that I do not know. Okay, we are good at artistic things, at coloring, at design, so on and so forth. But the problem, we are lacking of agriculture part. This is what I mean. Yeah, we are lacking of agriculture part. This is what I mean. Agri-processing is from here to here. This is agri-processing.
That's the cocoon, right?
This is a cocoon.
Yes.
This is a cocoon. This is a cocoon from the silkworm. And then from this, you could make this silk yarn.
Yes.
And from the silk yarn, you make this fabrics. Okay?
So the whole supply chain.
The whole supply chain. The supply chain. Yeah. This part is agriculture. This part is, you could say, industry or artisanal thing.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Artisanal thing.
It's an early beginning.
That's right. That's right.
What is the challenge? You know, if we are able to make all this nice fabric design, everything, why can we not produce enough yarn on our own? What's the challenge? It's not that we don't have land. We have land.
I think very good question about this. This is what we import. So the target is to produce this. The question is why we do not produce this.
Why? That's a good point. That's a good point.
Why we do not produce this. I came to Cambodia 2007 as a mission. I was a senior economist of the FAO in Rome. I came here.
FAO is Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. Yes.
Organization of the UN.
Yes.
Sorry to abbreviation. For this, in nutshell, the problem was silkworm disease. Silkworm disease.
Okay.
So when our silkworm having disease, we could not produce this.
Okay.
We couldn't produce this. So to produce this, we need 2 or 3 aspects. One is silkworm.
Yes.
Another one is mulberry.
Yes.
And another one is people.
Okay.
Yeah, people. Yeah. So we have people, we have mulberry, but our silkworm are sick. Right? So this is a main problem that we could not do this.
So that's, you know, if I look at the larger, you know, picture, is that this issue is related a lot into research and development, you know, and I think like in any economy, you know, if you don't have a strong research and development base, you're not able to move the next step. In this case, it's obvious.
Absolutely, yeah. This is research. This is research and technologies, which we are missing. Our silkworm was not so good, low productivities, and also sick.
I see.
Right?
I see.
So more than 50% of the silk die because of the disease.
Yes.
We don't know any technologies to detect what are the disease and not disease. In other countries, they produce this at the lab, centralized, disease check. select only the good high productivity silkworm, right?
Yeah.
After the center produce something, they distribute to the farmers. This is basically, if you compare with rice, this is seeds,
Yeah.
right? Seeds.
So it's quite a controlled environment when you work at the controlling the sickness of the worm, that sort of thing.
Absolutely, this is more important than rice, because rice is not a living thing.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
This is a living thing.
It's a living thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
If they have a disease, the disease will spread to other
Yes.
creature,
Yes.
and then also it affect other area.
Yes.
So the productivity is very low. So this is absolutely important. In other countries, like Japan, like China, like Korea, who develop in these sectors,
Yes.
all they do the same thing, research based, but have to be local here. So this is link. Seal is only one part.
Yes.
Seal is only one part,
Yes.
or one example.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
of diversification
Yes, yes,
in agriculture we're talking
Okay.
about. Right?
What other thing that you have in mind?
Other thing I have in mind, we have to explore bit by bit, but I'm rather thinking about institution setting.
Okay, please.
Yeah, institution setting.
You know that one of these Nobel laureate called Douglas North, he got a Nobel, prize with one theory that very shortly say institution matter.
That's
But I
right.
say that institution matter only when institution is strong.
That's right.
But if the institution is weak, then it don't matter.
That's right.
Doesn't matter.
So we have to make it happen.
Yes.
So we tend to say what crop, what product. It's difficult. It's through research. One example, we tend to talking about rubber.
Yes.
We talk about sugar that we already see it. It's
Yes.
obvious.
Yes.
We know that, right? But there are so many things that are hidden that we don't know.
Okay.
We have to explore that through research.
Yes.
There are so many potential that could be done through research. Still one is frankly a very obvious.
Yes.
Obvious.
Yes.
But just come back to the essence of agro-processing
Okay.
or agro-industries.
Yes.
It is the kind of linkage between agriculture and industries. You talk about industries.
Yes.
Let's imagine producing a motorcycle.
Okay.
It is very controlled environment, right? It is controlled environment.
Yes.
They produce it in a workshop, everything controlled, the supply of raw materials, the supply of parts come on time and so on and so forth. But if you talk about agriculture, agriculture is very, very dependent on nature. It's at the vagary of the nature.
And climate change is not
Climate
helping.
change
Is
is
not
coming,
helping.
flood is coming,
Yes.
changing everything coming,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it's all, so agriculture in short, it is uncontrollable environment.
Yes.
So industry is controllable environment.
see,
Yeah?
I see.
The two things
Never
are.
thought about that.
Never thought about that.
It's obvious, but we never thought about
That's
it.
right,
Yes.
that's right. So agro-processing is in between.
Okay.
In between. So
Yes.
we talk a lot in Cambodia. We say, oh, we have so many mango.
Yes.
Right? Why don't we have factories? Right? Why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? But just imagine if investors come to invest in Cambodia, how many months of the year could they operate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mango could be collected 3 months,
Yes.
4 months, right? At most 4 months.
Yes, yes.
So what do we do with the remaining months? Right?
Exactly.
So the factory will be idle.
Yes.
So that is not not feasible for investment to come only for 4 months.
Yes.
So those are the issue of agribusiness here. It is
Cassava, the same thing. I mean, some company try to install the processing facility, but they find out that per hour, the factory need like 10,000 tons or something
right.
to crush the cassava, and then
Right.
after that, there's no more cassava to crush.
Right. As you know, cassava is planted around May, June,
Yes.
and then harvest around December.
Yes.
So the available cassava is around the end of the year.
Yes.
Right.
And
So
after that, the
what do we do?
factory is,
The
yeah,
factory.
okay.
So this is the real difficulties of controlling the supply of raw material on a regular way from January to December to make this investment viable. Right? This is a main challenge of agro-processing. And then if you're talking about food industries,
Yes.
is another problem, which is the hygiene thing,
Hygiene, yes.
the food safety
Yes,
thing,
yes.
where they come in.
Yes.
You just could not export anything you produce, for example. Even not export, you sell to the local people,
Yes.
which are not safe, right? So this is another requirement that is very stringent, that is make this development difficult.
You touch on two things, which I think some is more within our controls, another one not so much in our control. the climate change, the vagaries of the weather, the flood and everything, nothing we can do about it. Maybe some can be done about it, but most of them cannot be done about it. But the other thing that I think is within our control is more, you mentioned about food transformation that require hygiene. I think by now the Ministry of Industry, Mine and Energy has worked with UNIDO for the last 10 years or so. Since we entered WTO, one of the decision we made in those days that since we gonna work hard to enter the WTO, we have now market, but market mean nothing if you have nothing to export, right? But then we realized to export you need to have certain standard that only the importing country will determine, right? I mean, look at right now the scandal. I think now at the European continent proportion now the scandal on this horse meat, for example, right? We don't know to what extent that scandal will be stopped, but I think this require a lot of consumer confidence, and consumer confidence can only come if they are assured that the labeling in the container, in the box, on the can that they are buying have information that are accurate. In the context of Cambodia, we are working. We have lab, we have metrology, we have sort of like a system to manage the phyto and sanitary, phytosanitary.
SPS.
SPS, yes. So we're moving the ladder on this processing, right?
Right.
But what is your view on as we want to develop our agriculture into a agro industry, agro processing? Where do you see the challenge? Where do you see the opportunity in the context of a country like Cambodia, primarily agrarian? And Cambodia is no different than many other least developed countries.
Right. I think before I answer that, I go back to your issue about the importance of hygiene and importance of the buyer countries. This is, in the old day, if your countries is closed, if something happen, it's only affected a local, an area, not affected other countries. But now everything like globalized, right? So everything move across the border. So if you have problem in one country, you affect the country. So this is become very, very important to control, to manage. I think it's good that Cambodia has developed a system, but this is just the system is good, the institution is good in order to gain, retain confidence from the buyer. So that is the first part of it. So we have to establish, we have to continue to improve our system. So I mentioned two parts already so far about the input supply, and then about the technology standards and so forth. Now you're talking about markets, and then also the challenge of the whole sectors. In my view, I think it is a process of development. We have to link the three, right? As you could see. The supply
the whole spectrum.
Not on 3 months but 12 months.
The whole value chain, if I can say.
What do we do in order to assure that for 12 months, for example, for the mango or something? We have to research or something in order to have supply of mango for 12 months. So these are the challenge. And also the standard institution we're talking about, the control, the factories, and also the markets. The markets. In my experience, a few months ago, I had a chance to talk with experts from Thailand. I asked similar question to them. What did Thailand do in order to develop agro business in Thailand? So
and they are strong.
And they are strong now. But surprisingly, the answer was quite obvious.
Is that right?
Yeah, the answer was quite obvious. They told me in Thailand in the 1970s, early 80s, Thailand agriculture was similar to Cambodia. What does it mean? It means that Thailand produce only grain, only rice, rubber, like us now. Basically commodity based, no processing. And the processing in Thailand happening based on to his explanation, which I tend to agree, is that based on the FDI.
It was direct investment.
Promoted by FDI, particularly from Japan. Of course, there are two types of agro processing. One small one, like we're talking about soy sauce or fish sauce, in a village. This is one thing. But if you want to have a bit of a sizable, a bigger one, it's a different story. So I see the practicalities of thing is that it come back to FDI again. Why is that? Because in economic theories, there's a word say demand creates supply, right? So FDI are people from foreign countries. They know what are the need in outside. They know that. They know, for example, take Japan, for example. They know what need in Japan. In the case of Thailand and Japan, for example, give you an example that they quote to me is about the chicken. Before Japan raise a chicken in Japan, they pick into the steaks, they grill it, they do kind of chicken grill in Japan only. But from 70s, from 80s, Japanese factory come to Thailand. They say, okay, we have investment in Thailand because of the investment is favorable. They make a factories, they raise chicken, right? They put all the steak, everything already. They put it in a container and then ship to Japan. Japan only grill. Right?
I see.
What is what's important here? Important here is that they raise a chicken in Thailand that create demand for maize production.
I see.
Okay. So
it's a whole backward linkage.
It's a whole backward linkage.
Yes, yes.
So demand is here. They do an investment in Thailand. They raise chicken, but must be a good variety.
Yes.
Good chicken, good controls,
yes.
Like good feed,
quality
good
control. Yeah.
And they need maize, or they need other dry fish. They need other raw materials.
Yes.
So there is supply from Thailand agriculture. So this is very important because it creates linkages to agriculture.
Backward and forward.
Backward and forward.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. This is what's happening in Thailand.
Wow.
So I think in a coming year, perhaps, I think Japan will come to invest here in Cambodia also.
You think that model can be replicated in the context of Cambodia?
I think this is one of the possibilities. It's highly likely.
Yes.
Highly likely that it will come. So that can stimulate the we call it diversification of agriculture from only rice, but to other things.
Yes.
But here market is there.
Yes.
Processing is here, and you just supply of raw materials. Because if we ourselves, of course we could do, but it will take a long time.
Yes. Yes.
If we like to export to for example, to China or to Singapore, it's very difficult to know what are the market demand in their countries, right?
Yeah.
So it's really backward linkage here. You have to invest. It does mean that we have to start to think with FDI approach, but at the same time we have to respond to this, right?
Yes.
So I come back to the vagary of agriculture.
Okay.
That one, I mean, in my view, for example, agriculture development, in one word, is about putting agriculture in a controlled environment.
I see.
Right?
That's a big word.
It's a big word. For example, why control? Because we have to have irrigation scheme. We have to have water at the same time, right? We have to have a seed that we know that how long it grows, right? We have to know when is harvest time.
Yeah.
We have to know there's no insect to destroy the agriculture. So it's all control.
Would you say that, you know, after 20 years of exposure since the Paris Peace Accord, we have our peace, we have our development, there's so many contribution from our development partner to help the country. Don't you think by now we have the capacity to do all that on our own?
I think we are there, we are progressing, but to be frank, I think not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So we come a long way,
we come a long
still
way,
have some way
but
to
still,
go.
yes, maybe a kind of difficult part of it. Basically, this is linked to the whole development of agriculture of Cambodia as well.
Yes.
We are approaching the middle income countries
Yes.
with it $1,000. Yeah?
Yes.
We call it middle income trap. If we are not emphasizing on science and technologies now, right?
That's it.
So we could not overcome this. Even agriculture, important product which is rice, our seed is not there yet, right? So this is a bit not there yet.
Okay.
So we have to go back to the research.
Yes.
What I mean by research is not basic research.
Yes.
What I mean is more applied research.
Applied research. Yeah.
Meaning what? Meaning that there are a lot of research findings they found that in Thailand, in Vietnam, in the world already.
Yeah.
But we must have institution, come back to institution, to
contextualize in our
it,
country.
consolidate all this, and experiment whether it work in Cambodia. Talk about vegetables also. We import a lot from neighboring countries, right?
Yes.
What is the problem? The problem is we still lack of technologies, lack of control environment, right? Perhaps water, perhaps seed, perhaps disease.
Yes.
So all sort of problems have to be sorted out. I think that we have to be in a more control of the environment.
That's a big word. What's your last word, because we're running out of time now?
Okay, very quick,
Yes.
as usual. My last word is that now I promote this silk for, this is one example. I promote this silk for 5 years already. And the support done by FAO, by the UN, finished last month. So without further support, I think we're running out of fund, to continue. This is very basic thing.
Yeah.
Come back to institutions. In Thailand, they do research for more than 100 years already.
Yes.
We just do it 3 years. So we need more time to continue this, to strengthen our institution, to strengthen our technologies and our people to be able to manage, all these difficult issue in agriculture and agro processing.
Thank you, Bong. I think your last word on the silk exemplify the larger issue of I would say more is symptomatic of the development spectrum in the agriculture side of Cambodia, because if I can sort of like summarize a bit what you have stressed the last 30 minutes is the issue of agriculture, but agriculture is at the vagaries, is subject to the vagaries of the weather, of climate change. In other words, uncontrolled environment, where on the other spectrum you're dealing with industrial setting where everything is controlled environment. You try to bring together the two, the mix between how do you bring these two together, sort of like how do you bring an uncontrollable environment into at least a semi-controlled environment where you can control the output of it. You link to something which I think is directly linked to that control environment, which is research and development. Without good research and development, we will not be able to skip the learning curve, we will not be able to go to the next phase. And it's important in the context of Cambodia evolving toward a sort of like advanced emerging economy, that we stress a lot on innovation, research, technology as a stepping stone to have more productivity. The example of silk worm dying or low productivity or dying early is a clear example that without research you will not have good producing silkworm. So your last link is about the value, the important role of FDI, from foreign direct investment coming abroad to help stimulate the supply, in this sense, forcing the development of a whole area of backward linkages. The FDI come, identify certain, have demand, identify the need to supply, and then from the supply side, it forced the whole economy to start producing things to feed, this processing process. I think it's quite a broad, overview on how you see the development, agricultural development in this country. I think on that note, I probably would say that we come quite a long way in this 20 years after the peace, Paris Peace Accord, peace process. We are now about to enter the second wave of economic phase, classification, which is graduating from least developed country status to a middle income country. Thus, the importance to have a clear policy, to push for more research, for more innovation. In other words, how do you bring the uncontrollable element into some sort of controllable environment that you can secure the future destiny of our nation? Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes. All right.